to another Makeup Monday. Today's vibe is soft glam and setting boundaries. Because one thing about me, I'm not entertaining energy that drains me. I'm starting off with a mattifying primer to smooth everything out and control my oily skin. We need a solid base on the face and in life. Now let's get into these brows. I'm using a brow pencil to shape and lightly fill them in. Nothing too harsh, just soft and structured. These brows say, I've got peace, but I'll walk away quick if I need to. That's the energy we're keeping. The goal I have for myself when I do my brows is to not make them overly dramatic. I just want to fill them in and enhance the shape a little bit. I'm not trying to completely change the shape of my brows or just go too hard. Notice this time I didn't use a brow gel. I actually lost mine. I couldn't find it, but I found another one that I had, but I digress. Anyways, once I fill them in, I'm going to go in with my NYX brow pencil in the shade Espresso. And this is just going to create more depth in my brows so they're not as sparse as they actually are. Again, just to create some definition and enhance the shape, not completely change it. Setting boundaries to optimize your piece seems very intimidating. However, these are necessary steps that you have to take for you start to understand that the way that you show up and the way that other people show up are completely different. If they're not matching energy, it's time to get away from these individuals. Now I'm going to clean up my brows with a little concealer. I like to use a flat brush and take my time. This step allows to bring everything together. It gives lifted, it gives fresh, and it gives don't play with me. I don't do too much bright under the brow, just enough to highlight without looking too harsh. Clean brows, clean energy. That's the vibe. Now I'm going to go in with my cream contour to add some warmth and definition back into the face. I like to apply under my cheekbones, around the forehead, a little on the jawline, sometimes down the sides of my nose, just to softly shape everything, and also around my nose to create the button shape. Nothing too harsh, just enough to say I'm here, I'm structured, and I know exactly who I am. Hello. Since getting into makeup, my contour bronzer stage has increased. I used to not put as much, only on my cheek areas and maybe a little on my forehead. Now I go a little overboard, but I love the bronzed look. However, watching this video back, I do think I'm going to tone it down a little bit. But the trick with cream contour or bronzer is placement and blending. It's to always blend upward, never down. Because why would I want to drag my face or my spirit down? We're lifting everything around here. It's funny because this step already reminds me of how I've had to redefine my own boundaries. Like what I allow, how I show up, who I give energy to, is all intentional now. So yeah, this part is one of my favorites. Not just because it snatches the face, but because it's symbolic. I'm shaping this face the same way I've been reshaping my piece. Like I said, the key is to blend, blend, and blend. And I like to blend upwards, but also tapping motion / sweeping motion. This way, in my opinion, creates the best finish. There was a time I would just let people access me however, whenever, no limits, no expectations. I show up, pour in, explain myself, overextend, all of it. But now, I'm a lot more intentional. Just like I placed this contour where it makes sense, I started placing people where they belong. Some close, some distant, and some nowhere at all. The thing is, boundaries don't mean you're cold. They mean you care enough about your piece to protect it. So I blend upwards because we're lifting my face, my mindset, my standards. This step snatches the face, yes, but it also reminds me that I have the power to shape how I move. I'm not bending to fit anyone else's expectations anymore. It's given, I still love you, but from over there. Now I'm adding a little cream blush just to bring some color and life back to the face. I'm mixing a peachy pink with a soft baby pink, tapping it right on the apples of my cheeks and blending it upward. It's giving soft, it's giving alive, and honestly, it's giving I've been choosing myself lately. There's something about blush that just makes everything feel a little lighter. Like, yeah, I've been through some things, but I still deserve the glow, period. For this look and for future looks, I think I'm going to blend in my eye crease as well as my cheek areas for my blush, simply because this created such a great, flawless, like blushy pink look. It was so cute. Watching this video back, I literally can't wait to go play in some makeup because this was so tea. It was just so pretty pink and just girly, just being a girl, looking like one of the girls. All right, now it's time for concealer. I'm placing the concealer under my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, on my forehead, under my nose, on my chin, and also to kind of sculpt out that bronzer that I placed. I use quite a bit in this video, but usually I don't use too much concealer, just enough to lift and bring a little life back into my face. And honestly, that's what I've been doing in real life too, lifting and brightening. I've had to step back from people in spaces that were dimming my light, and not necessarily people that are in my life now or that I reach out to, but at one point in my life. I'm not talking recently, more kind of before, but I'm recognizing it now. Just to clean that up just a little bit. Certain people or things had me second guessing my worth, my voice, and even my softness. This concealer doesn't just cover dark spots. It reminds me that I don't have to carry everything. Some things I can let go. Some people I can let go. And I feel like that's a hard lesson to learn about letting go, because I honestly and truthfully give people way too many benefit of the doubts before I'm like, okay, it's time that I need to cut you off. You're not benefiting my life. You're not bringing value to my life. Our goals don't even align. Our expectations of one another don't even align. And while hard, is something that you just have to do in order to grow and reach that next step of your life. I used to feel guilty for choosing myself. Now I see the only way I'm going to thrive is to do as such. We're not masking anything. We're illuminating what's already here. So yes, this step is important, but so is protecting the light. And that's exactly what I'm doing on my face and in my life. I find the tapping motion under my eyes and when I'm blending out my concealer is the best way to blend it out. Side note though, this concealer and this video in general is pulling very yellow. Do you guys think I need a different shade of concealer? Like, what do you guys think my undertone is? I'm pretty sure I'm warm. I feel like that's what it gives. Very warm and golden, but I feel like also too, a lot of black girls start off with warm and golden until they actually find their undertones. So comment down below, what do you think? And also, what products you recommend for a very matte base. But anyways, child, once I blend all of my concealer out, I like to go in with my foundation brush just to make sure everything is blended seamlessly and has no harsh lines. Now it's time to place powder everywhere. I'm pressing a pressed powder right under my eyes, around my mouth, and anywhere I tend to get shiny, but also everywhere I place a concealer. This step locks it all in. It keeps the work I just did from slipping, fading, or creasing. And real talk, that's the same thing boundaries do. They protect the version of me I've been working so hard to become. I'm not available for chaos. I'm not entertaining energy that makes me question myself. I spent too much time building this piece to let it melt away over something or someone that's inconsistent. Just like this powder is holding this concealer down, I'm holding myself down. No more shrinking, no more compromising to keep the peace, especially when I am the peace. We're setting the face, we're setting the tone, we're setting the boundaries. Now that everything's set, I'm going in with a little powder contour to bring some warmth and shape. I'm using a light hand, just sweeping it under the cheekbones, around my forehead, a touch on the jawline, nose, etc. This step isn't about changing my face, it's about enhancing what's already there. And honestly, that's the energy I'm moving with. I'm not reinventing myself to fit in anymore. I'm just refining who I already am. Again, I like to go a little overboard with the bronzer. That's why I feel like I need to stop, because it gives too much bronzer and I feel like it starts to kind of melt together with everything else, so it kind of makes it too muddy after so long of wearing it. With my powder bronzer, I also like to drag that into my eyelid and kind of drag it out to create a wing effect. And I also like to put the powder contour or bronzer under my eye. I got this makeup hat for doing it under the eyelids with the contour or bronzer shade from Makeup by Chelsea. She does Dolce makeup, and if you've seen her makeup, you know it's literally so flawless, seamless, just chef's kiss. Anyways, now I'm going in with a loose powder and I'm gonna lightly bake. This is another step where I feel like I kind of be messing up because I'm afraid of the powder. I need to just pack it on. You know that sound on TikTok from Uche? She's like a little dot dot or concealer dot dot. That is so true. I really feel like that. I am not afraid to put on the makeup. It is over with for y'all, okay? It's really over with. Now I'm adding blush on top, and I'm using a mix of the peachy pink and the soft baby pink, just tapping it on the apples of my cheeks and blending upward. I love this part because it brings the look to life. It's soft, it's feminine, and it reminds me I can be gentle with myself even while I stand firm with others. Some people think boundaries mean being cold or distant, but no, you can hold people accountable and still be warm, still be beautiful, still be kind. Powder, contour, and blush, they bring the balance, and that's what I'm always working toward, balance. Now I'm just dusting off the excess powder. We let it sit long enough to do its job. Now it's time to sweep it away and reveal the work underneath. Kind of like let it go in people or habits that had their season but no longer serve me. Just because it was part of the process doesn't mean it needs to stay for the ride. After dusting off my mini bake, I'm going in with that contour or bronzer shade under my eyes. You really can't tell, but it does make a difference. Then I'm going to go in with setting spray to bring everything together and lock it in. A few sprays and then let it melt in the skin. This is when the makeup really becomes yours. And it's just like I'm setting this face. I've been setting a tone for how I allow people to show up in my life. We're not explaining ourselves. We're not overextending. We're just setting and staying solid. A little highlighter. I recently just picked highlighter back up and I'm trying to get back into it. So let me know how you guys like that little part. I just did it on the bridge of my nose. Alright, last but not least, it's time for the lips. I'm doing a plum lip combo today. Something soft but still with a little attitude. I'm spraying this one side setting spray first just to make sure that plum lip liner stays. I'm starting with a deep brown and then I go in with the plum liner and I add on a pink lipstick and top it with a gloss to tie it all together. This lip says, I'm sweet, but I'm not to be played with. It's giving grown, it's giving soft, and it's giving exactly what it meant to give. And this is the final look. Soft glam on the outside, strong boundaries on the inside. Cute face, clear mind, and zero tolerance for chaos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.